What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Michael Maher Show. Today is Monday, January 11th, 2020. This is episode 42 of the Michael Maher Show, and we have a phenomenal episode for you today. Let me just get a quick sip of the Yofsky before we get rolling with this episode. We're going to start with a sports update. NFL wildcard round was this past weekend. Then we're going to preview the college football championship, which is tonight, which is Alabama versus Ohio State, who just knocked off Clemson. Quick little UFC preview because McGregor is fighting on January 23rd. If you're watching this on YouTube and it looks like my eyes are going from right to left, it's because I split screen it. So I'm on half the screen and I'm reading the outline on the other half. It's a little bit different because when I did them at school and I would do them in person, I would sometimes print it out. And sometimes I would just like have my laptop right there. But now that I record on my laptop, it's a little bit different. So we're split screening. So if my eyes look like they're going in 19 different directions, that's why. After the sports update, we got a life update. I went on a massive ski trip, which was phenomenal with so many of my friends. I just got back a couple days ago. I got my car back. And I won my fantasy football league. Who didn't see that coming, though, honestly? But we'll get into that stuff. Fan questions, round 3. I put it up on Snapchat and Instagram yesterday. Said swipe up with some questions. I got a lot of good questions. So I'm going to answer how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I picked 8 to answer. I like all the questions, though. Shout out you guys for sending in your questions. Then we're going to wrap up with a stock/crypto update / talk or whatever you want to say. And then the advice of the week. And that is it. I don't know how long that's going to take. I'm in my room today. I usually record these Zoom ones in the office downstairs, but I was just like, I'm just going to wake up, roll out of bed. I just woke up like, what time is it? It's 1:01. I woke up at probably like 12:30. My sleep schedule is so shot. It's terrible. I usually go to bed around like 3:30 and I usually wake up around like 12. So, I mean, I'm still getting almost 9 hours. So take that however you want. But yeah, this coffee is just it's going to propel this episode. I can already tell. Okay, let's get started. NFL wild card this past weekend was a madness. It was a madness, mate. Okay, we're going to start at the top. Colts versus Bills was the first playoff game. Bills won by 3 points. That was a good game. Colts are a tough team, though. I knew the Bills were going to win. I don't want to say I knew the Bills were going to win, but I really thought they were going to win. They did not cover, though. The spread was 6.5. They only won by 3. Final score was 27-24. The over-under was 51.5. 50 points were scored. So the over missed by 1.5 points. Man, Vegas got it close again, but the Bills are moving on to the next round. Super excited about that. Good season to the Colts. Not sure if Philip Rivers is still going to be their quarterback next season. We'll see. But the Bills, the good guys, they move on. Shout out my boy Jimmy, big Bills fan over there. Yeah, I mean, go Bills, I guess. That's who I would like to see. That's who I want to win the Super Bowl. Excuse my French. Just woke up, like I said. Going to be a weird episode. A lot of grammatical errors. I can already tell coming my way. Yeah, so I would like to see the Bills win the Super Bowl. If not the Chiefs. Yeah, there we go. All right, Rams, Seahawks, second playoff game. Seahawks were a 3-point favorite, but they lost by 10. Rams went into Seattle and won. Let's see, it was 20-10 at halftime, so they just carried that 10-point lead into the rest of the game. I'm here for it. I mean, I thought the Seahawks were going to win that game, but, man, Jared Goff had a hurt thumb. He just had surgery on his thumb like 10 days ago. He wasn't even starting. And then the quarterback that was starting got hurt like a couple minutes into the game. Jared Goff goes in, propels them to a victory. I kind of wanted to see, I don't know. I just like watching DK Metcalf play and just like see Russell Wilson, Seattle. Like, I just kind of wanted to see them win. You know, like, I mean, dude, if you can't beat a division rival in the playoffs, I mean, sheesh, like you're not supposed to be in the playoffs, I guess. So go Rams, I guess. If any Rams fans out there, shout out you. Now, the night game on Saturday. Okay, I got some Redskins stuff over there, but I don't want to turn the camera because this microphone's like it's just on shaky legs today, so I don't want to accidentally hit it or something. But Redskins versus Buccaneers. Excuse me, I got a burp. What a game. What a game that was. I mean, back and forth. I knew the Redskins were going to make that a close game. I mean, no doubt. Washington, it's just I just feel like we play up to our competition, we play down to our competition, and we've been doing that for many, many years. So when we play the Bengals or we play the Lions or something like that, we lose because we just play down to our competition. But when we play up and we play like the Steelers or the Seahawks or the Buccaneers, it doesn't matter. We always show up. That being said, our defense did not show up. They played horrible, probably the worst they've played all season. My boy Taylor Heineke, who's this guy? That's a McGregor quote, but who the F is this guy? I don't know. I mean, I had no clue. We signed him off the free agency. He wasn't even on a team. We signed him off waivers like, I want to say December 8th. Apparently he was taking online classes at ODU and he needed to be excused from exam week to go play for the Redskins. That's crazy. He played phenomenal though. I read something like he had one of the best quarterback ratings in X amount of years for the Redskins. So yeah, good for him. I would personally like to see them re-sign him, but I don't know. I mean, he made a lot of money on, what was it, Saturday when they played that game. So if he doesn't go to the Redskins, he's going to be a good quarterback somewhere else, maybe a backup, but he's going to make a lot of money. So I don't know. I mean, we're going to have like the 19th overall pick. Do we want to draft a quarterback or do we just want to roll with Heineke? Personally, I liked Heineke. I thought he played well. I thought he played pretty well in the fourth quarter against the Panthers, the game that he went or that he played last minute. I don't know. We'll see. As a Redskins fan, though, I'm just happy to see us make the playoffs. We weren't even supposed to make it. We put up a phenomenal fight against the Buccaneers. We won over a lot of fans. Buccaneers were a 10-point favorite, and they did not cover. Great teams, good teams win. Great teams cover. The Buccaneers are not a great team. Go Skins. Hopefully we have a team name by next year. Wouldn't count on it, though. Definitely would not count on that. So, yeah, it was a good Saturday. You know what I mean? Saturday was fun. I love having NFL games on Saturday. Hopefully they do that in the coming seasons. So it just gives us something to watch. I mean, of course you have college football on Saturday, but wouldn't hurt to sprinkle in. Hold up. Let me get that little, where's the guy that sprinkles the salt down his arm? Sprinkle in a little NFL, little NFL on a Saturday. Whew, didn't see that one coming, did you? Okay. On to Sunday, which was yesterday, Ravens versus Titans. That game was in Tennessee. Ravens were a 3.5-point favorite, and they won by 7, so they covered. Ravens looked pretty good. Lamar Jackson looked good. Titans, I mean, that was a rematch of last year's playoff game where the Ravens lost. And I remember I lost a lot of money in that game last year. I lost a lot of money. You know, I'll tell a story real quick, actually. So how I lost all the money was when my bookie, when you make a bet, when you're going live bets, because I live betted it, it puts it in the queue. So like you'll say like Ravens money line and you'll put it in your queue. I remember I had like the Lakers were playing that night and like so were, I want to say like the Jazz or something like that. So I add Jazz money line, Lakers money line, Ravens money line to my bet slip. When you go to your bet slip, it defaults to the maximum amount that you can bet. So okay, so now I have 3 bets that I haven't taken yet, but they're all maximum amount. All I have to do is just place bet. There's no password. It's just place bet and it goes right through. Where it says place bet is the X. So it says place bet and like the bottom right on the screen. Right above it is the X to cancel a bet. So I see Ravens, like I forget what the spread was. It was like minus 160 money line, okay? Because it was like going into halftime and they were down by like 2 points or something like that. I don't really remember. But I go to exit out of the Lakers bet. I'm like, I don't want this anymore. So I go to cancel out of that. And I accidentally, my mouse is like a centimeter above where I thought it was. And I accidentally clicked place bet. I was the biggest Ravens fan after that moment. I was like, yo, I need the Ravens so big right now. And they lost. So honestly, like, I don't count that towards my overall record because I didn't mean to take it. Now, if they had won, I probably would have counted it towards my overall record. But since they lost, and I was just so blown because I remember I texted my bookie and I was like, yo, I just took a bet I wasn't supposed to take. Or I didn't mean to take. And I just remember he didn't answer. And I was like, this guy's a stooge. No way he answers. Because the Ravens just didn't look good in the second half. And he was like, this guy's just going to want my money. But I ended up hitting. And I remember after that, need some coffee. Yeah, I remember hitting a little bit after that. So I didn't have to pay as much as I would have if I had lost all my other bets. But that was last season. New season. I've been doing pretty dang good this year. Not going to lie. Okay, Bears versus Saints. Not much to say about that game. I mean, Saints won by 12. Spread was 10.5, so they covered by 1.5 points. It was a good game. I mean, I didn't think the Bears were going to be that competitive. I mean, they got one touchdown on the last play of the game, so take that how you want. Saints, I mean, Saints are one of those teams that, like, they always make the playoffs, but they always get screwed by the refs in the playoffs. So I don't know. I'll preview next week once I'm done with the next game. But yeah, I mean, Saints, Bears, I mean, Alvin Kamara's that dude. Sheesh. I don't know. I mean, Bears, Saints, Bears aren't that good. Redskins would have beat the brakes off the Bears. Okay, final game on NFL wildcard weekend was the Browns versus the Steelers. Steelers were a 5.5-point favorite playing at home. They had just played the Browns last week. They lost by 2. And man, they were talking to madness. I mean, some of them were. I mean, JuJu, I remember in an interview earlier this week, he was saying, the Browns is the Browns. I mean, I didn't disagree. When I heard that, I was like, yeah, I mean, the Browns are the Browns, man. I mean, like, they're just one of those teams that they fold. They remind me of the Redskins, honestly. Like, they fold, they compete sometimes, but then they fold. I don't know. They're just not that great of a team. But this year, they got a little more of a little spunk to them, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And they don't have OBJ. So, I mean, if they had OBJ last night, I don't know. I didn't even say the final score. Final score was 48-37. Browns came out hot. First play of the game, the Steelers center snapped it over his head. Total stooge right there. Touchdown for the Browns. First play of the game. And they scored 28 points in the first quarter, which was an NFL record for a playoff game. It was the largest deficit in one quarter, so 28-0. But then the Steelers started to come back a little bit. I think what will haunt them is not going for it on fourth down. 4th and 1, fourth quarter. They had all the momentum. They were down by 12. I think it was around midfield, and they punted. It's like those type of decisions are just the ones that kill you the most, because I understand you have faith in your defense and you punt the ball away and you're playing a field position game at that point. But look what happened. I mean, the Browns scored a touchdown on that drive and then went back up by 21 or something like that and never looked back. You just got to be gutsy and you just got to go for it. I mean, when you look at your team, you call a timeout. Let's say you call a timeout and you look each other in the face. Do you guys not have enough faith in yourselves to get 1 yard? You look at each other and be like, guys, are we not going to get 1 yard against the Browns right now? Like, can we actually not get 1 yard against the Cleveland Browns right now when we need it most? And they didn't even try. Like, that's soft in my opinion. That's a real soft decision that they made. And so Browns won by 11. 85 points were scored in that game. That's a load of points. Yeah, I mean, Steelers are out. They never recovered against the Redskins. I swear the Redskins put the fear of God in them. Redskins beat them in week 12. Steelers were undefeated. And since then, they lost 5 of their next 6 games. You take that how you want. I mean, I will take that as the Redskins put the fear of the Lord in them and never looked back. Great wild card weekend. Phenomenal wild. I love NFL playoffs. NFL playoffs are so violent. It's just, it's awesome. I mean, you get maximum effort out of these guys. I mean, of course, when you're playing in the NFL, you have to put in effort even in the regular season. It's not like basketball because, I mean, if you don't put in effort in football, you'll get hurt. I mean, like straight up, someone will get hurt. So there's always effort. But when you're in the playoffs and there's that many more cameras on you and there's that many more people watching and it's just, it's intense. It's that much more intense. It's so much fun to watch. And a lot of these games were close. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. The largest margin of victory was 11 points. That's not even 2 scores right there. Or, I mean, it is if you want to count a field goal, but not even 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, it was a great weekend of games. Now I got my phone right here. Oh, the phone is blowing up. Got to put it on mute. It's on mute. Okay. Let me go to the schedule real quick, and I'll just preview the games for next week. I'm going to do a podcast probably in between then, so I'll probably talk about it a little bit more. But let's see. Divisional round. Okay, Saturday at 4:35 p.m. Eastern time. Rams travel to Lambeau Field to take on the Packers. Packers are a 7-point favorite in that. I like the Packers. I think the Packers are going to go to the Super Bowl from the NFC. They just look good. I mean, Devontae Adams is an animal. He was on my fantasy team this year. Guy's a dog. They're not losing. I don't think they lose to the Rams. I just don't see that happening. Now, this is the best game next week, in my opinion. 8:15 Saturday. Bills versus Ravens in Buffalo. That's a game. I mean, Bills, Ravens, that is a game. The Bills are a 2.5-point favorite. I think they win and cover. I like the Bills to win that game, but not by a lot. I mean, the Ravens are nice, and they showed that they still got a little spunk in them. They've been on a nice little win streak, if I'm not mistaken. Beat the Titans. I mean, Titans are no joke. Derrick Henry is no joke. That guy's like King Kong trying to run the football. Like, just give him a halfback counter. He'll probably get 7 yards every time. Okay, so I'm going Packers. I'm going Bills. Now on Sunday, we got Buccaneers versus Saints. Saints are favorite. I'm going with the Bucs, though. I'm going to go with the Bucs for one of two reasons. Okay. First reason is I think the Saints, I think the Redskins are that, I think the Redskins are honestly that good that's why people are saying like, oh, the Buccaneers don't look that good. They they let the Redskins compete with them. I just think the Redskins show up in big time games. I really do think they show up even though we lost. So I just think the Buccaneers, that was a hard game for them. And yeah, so I'm taking the Bucs in that. But another reason is the referees hate the Saints in the playoffs, particularly. Referees hate the Saints. Referees love Tom Brady. So that's a combo right there. That's a little peanut butter and jelly. That's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I'm going with the Bucs. I'm going with the Bucs by a decent amount of points too, like over 8 points. I'll say the Bucs win that game by more than 8 points. Should be competitive though for the first half, but yeah, I'm taking the Bucs. Okay, Browns versus Chiefs. Chiefs are a 10-point favorite. I'm sorry, but the Browns had a great run. They might make that game kind of competitive, but I just don't see the Chiefs losing that game. I'll be beside myself if the Chiefs lose. So based off my answers, it looks like we're going to get the Bills versus the Chiefs and the Packers versus the Bucs. So Packers, Bucs, I like that. Bills, Chiefs, I like that more. Great games. I'll preview those games when they happen, but that's my prediction. Let's go. I love the NFL so much. I love betting on these games. It's a great time of the year. It is a phenomenal time of the year. Now real quick, I can talk about fantasy football. Why not? I mean, on the topic of football, I won my fantasy football league. Shout out all the guys that were in the league. It was a lot of tech guys, a couple of people, I think some JMU heads, some Nova heads, just a lot of guys I've been friends with. There was 12 of us in the league. If you're listening to this, you know who you are. I honestly just can't think of everyone off the top of my head. Last year, I lost to Jimmy in the championship. I made it to the championship last year, same league, but I came up short. It blew me the entire offseason. I was like, damn. I mean, you got to hate losing, especially coming in second place. I mean, you got to appreciate going that far, but man, coming up short sucks. So this year, I was like, I'm going to right that wrong. After the draft, I'm pretty sure my draft report card, I was supposed to come in like 6th place. I knew that was capped though. I would say like 2 weeks before the playoffs started, I was at Hunter's house and I look at Eric and I was like, Eric, I'm going to see you in the championship, bud. Because he was the commissioner. I was like, we have the 2 best teams in the league. I'm going to see you in the championship and I'm going to beat you in the championship. Nevertheless, I mean, come on, I got to right my wrong. Like, this is my destiny, guy. I'm not going to lose in the championship 2 times in a row, missing out on over $200 combined. Like, I'm just not going to let that happen to my squad. So, of course, the playoffs come. I got a narrow victory versus my boy Kyle. That was a close game. I cannot lie. I only won that game by like 7 points or something. Then I played Matt Burkholder in the second round, and that was against Matt had beat me 2 times earlier in the regular season. So he beat me twice in the regular season, but I love Matt, but come on, man. I mean, I'm going to win when it matters most. So I beat him in the playoffs. And then I think I played Jimmy in the next round, and that was big for me because I was like, dude, this is the guy that knocked me out last year. Like, this is my redemption game. Like, this is my redemption game. Like, I have to show up, and I showed up. And then I played Eric in the championship, and I beat him by a decent amount of points. Feels good. I can't lie. It feels good to get the win. I like now when I watch these games, like ever since fantasy football was done, I was just like, it's not the same watching football without fantasy. It's like it's not as exciting. but it is exciting when the Venmo balance is mucho thicko because of your homies. So yeah, shout out the guys. Great season. I look forward to winning the championship again next year. Your money is very, very appreciated. I already spent most of it on my ski trip though. Skiing is expensive if you didn't know. Yeah, great season. I love fantasy football. I did terrible in my dad's league, and that league is actually for more money, and I've been in that one for longer. I did terrible in that league. Terrible. Worst I've done in a long time in fantasy football overall, but it's okay because I have bragging rights amongst my friend group. So that is basically all I have to say about NFL or professional football. You guys like this sweatshirt? I hope you like the sweatshirt. I got it for Christmas. Shout out my dad for getting me for Christmas. I don't know how the glasses are looking, if it's glaring, if it's a bad glare. I don't know. I have no idea. The lighting in my room's kind of weird. I got the ring light. The ring light is nice. I got that on Cyber Monday. I just pulled that down way too far. The hat I'm talking about for my listeners that aren't watching. Okay, yeah, the ring light's mad nice. It's just nice. I don't know. It makes the screen look. It just makes everything look cleaner. I just have bad lighting in my room. I've just always had bad lighting in my room. I got, of course, you see this big lamp right here, or big ceiling fan, whatever you want to say. And then I got a little one over there. So without this ring light, this is basically Lambeau Field shining in my face right now. This light is so bright. It gives you a headache, low key. So that's why you just got to try to really block it out and look down to something. So that's why I'm sitting higher and my laptop is lower and the ring light is raised. So it's not directly in front of me. Oh my goodness. That's what I was afraid of happening, hitting the microphone. This thing is on wobbly legs. This thing, it's about to fall. I didn't want this to happen on camera because it's going to take a minute to fix, but it's okay. It's okay. I mean, these little solo episodes, I mean, honestly, I don't even know what I say half the time just because I get so lost. My coffee's definitely getting cold. I almost said warm. That would be interesting if it was getting warm in room temperature. Okay. Enough of the coffee. Check this out. I got a 64-ounce water jug, MacGyver, whatever you want to say. It is so nice. I'm a big water guy. Shout out Agua. But I've always had 30-ounce water bottles or 24-ounce water bottles. So my sister asked what I wanted for Christmas, and I said, let me get one of these 64-ounce ones. And I picked out the color. This color was actually called Batman because it fades from black to silver. I don't know. I don't like the logo, honestly. It looks kind of soft. It's like a fireball or something like that. I don't know. And the name is Sendastar. I don't like that. I wish I could take it off because if it was just all around black fading into silver or silver fading into black, it'd be kind of sick, but it's not. I should have gotten another sip. That was a weak sip. Okay. College football championship is tonight, 8 p.m., Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, Florida. Alabama versus Ohio State. I'm ready for that game. Over-under is set at 75 points. That's an army of points. And Alabama is an 8.5-point favorite. Go figure. Man, I don't know because my prediction, you guys know what happened because this isn't coming out. I mean, today is Monday and the game is tonight. This podcast is coming out tomorrow afternoon. So I hope it was a good game. My prediction is Alabama wins by... I'm gonna say they win by 11 points. I'm gonna say Alabama wins by 11 points, and the over does not hit. It is under 75 points. I don't know. I could be totally wrong on both those. I think it's gonna be a good game though. It just depends. I mean, Justin Fields, that guy took a shot against Clemson last week. Or was that a week and a half ago? I think it was on New Year's Day. So it's 10 days ago. So he's had some time, but that guy took a shot. So, I mean, he's getting shot up with Toradol or something before the game. So he's not going to be feeling just about anything in his body. So good luck to him. Good luck to Ohio State. They've played a lot less games. I just think Alabama is an NFL team. They are like a mini NFL team year in and year out. So I'm taking them to win their 6th title with Nick Saban since he got there. Yeah, should be a great game. I was surprised that Ohio State beat Clemson by as many points as they did. I don't know. I mean, I think we need to extend the college football playoffs to 8 teams just because I remember when I was watching the semifinals on New Year's Day, they were saying that 40% of the semifinal games, which is 1 versus 4 and 2 versus 3 prior to the championship, have been decided by like more than 20 points. And that just shows that we need to expand the college football playoff platform or bracket, or the amount of teams that are in it, or whatever you want to say. So yeah, as far as tonight goes, I'm taking Bama. They got the Heisman winner. They got the best running back in college football. They got a nasty defense. Mac Jones is playing nice. I mean, it's going to be a good game. Nevertheless, props to both teams for making this far, but now one team gets to raise the trophy, and that team is going to be from the South, a.k.a. Alabama. So I'm taking them. Okay, last thing on the sports update. UFC has taken a 3-week hiatus, but they are back in 5 days with Max Holloway versus Calvin Kattar. That's a great fight. That's a good fight. I'm really excited for that. Holloway's first fight since losing his rematch against Volkanovski. I thought he won that fight, though. Calvin Kattar's coming off a couple wins. That's a scrap. That guy's from Boston. So, you know, when you're from Boston, you're ready to throw down just about any time of the day. I'm ready for that. That's a scrap. But let's be real. The next week, January 23rd, that's the real reason. That's the reason anyone actually cares about anything. That's the reason that, I don't know. Like, that's just, that is keeping me afloat as far as being excited to go back. I mean, I'm excited to go back to school, but I am more excited that the weekend I go back, McGregor is fighting Dustin Poirier in the rematch. Oh my gosh, I just tried to wipe my eyes through my glasses. Now they have smudge marks on them. That's a madness. I shouldn't have done that. That was a poor decision. Okay. Poirier versus McGregor. Let's go. First fight was on September 27th, 2014. McGregor won that fight less than 2 minutes into the first round. And that was like McGregor's rise. Like, that is when his rise started. That was only his third fight in the UFC. And from that point on, he just went to infinity and beyond. He proceeded to win his first title, proceeded to win his second title, proceeded to fight Floyd Mayweather. I mean, 6 years ago. I mean, you can tell right there just by the date. It was a long time ago. A lot has happened since then. Poirier has only lost 2 fights since losing to McGregor, and that was to Michael Johnson, that was an early finish as well, and to Khabib, who he got tapped out in, I think, the 3rd round. So, I mean, yeah, losing to Khabib isn't anything bad. Losing to Michael Johnson, yeah, it's kind of foul. I mean, Michael Johnson isn't that great as far as his contemporaries. He'd probably definitely beat the brakes off me. No doubt about that. But McGregor, I saw in an interview yesterday. He was like, Poirier's great. That's a horrible accent, but he was like, Poirier's great. Like, he's a great. I'm just going to talk normally. He was like, Poirier is great. He is a phenomenal competitor. He's one of the best in the UFC, but there are levels to this, and he is still nowhere near my level. And then this is where I was like, whoa. He said, I will beat Dustin Poirier inside 60 seconds. Yeesh. I mean, damn. I don't even know what to say about that. That's a madness. I've been saying, though, and I'm sticking by this. I said this like a month ago on the podcast, I think. I'm taking McGregor. Not only am I taking him, of course I'm taking him. I'm putting a dummy amount of money on him. I'm taking him, but I'm also taking McGregor in the first round, McGregor in the second round. Because both fights that Poirier's lost besides Khabib, which was to Michael Johnson and McGregor, were both inside 2 minutes. So while he doesn't get knocked out often, there is something to say about him starting slow, relatively slow in the first couple minutes. So if McGregor comes out there and pushes the pace on him early, like I'm talking early, very early, he could get him out there. I mean, damn, he could beat him in 60 seconds. That would be crazy. McGregor also said in this little interview, it was like a little snippet that I saw last night at like 3 a.m. or something. He was like, whatever he decides to do, he was like, if he decides to come forward, he's going to collapse. If he decides to take a back step and let me pressure him, he's going to collapse. That's intimidating. I don't know what you want me to say about that. McGregor is my guy. I've been supporting him since 2013. I will always bet on him. I will never bet against him. He's going to beat the hell out of Dustin Poirier on January 23rd. I will be at Virginia Tech to watch it. I'm very excited to watch it. It's going to be hard to stream because Dana White said, I got something in store for streamers in 2021. I don't know what that means, but bring it. I'm ready. I'm not ready. I don't know. And my hands get nervous talking about that on camera. Honestly, I shouldn't be talking about streaming on camera. I've talked about it way too much, but I'm ready. I'm ready to watch this fight. It's going to be so exciting. I mean, when McGregor fights, the whole world stops. Literally, I mean, Twitter goes nuts. YouTube goes nuts. Everything. All social medias come to a halt and watch that. Whatever it is. Whenever he fights, it doesn't matter. Everyone watches it. And that's what I love about the UFC, specifically Conor McGregor, because this guy is on a different galaxy than any other fighter besides Floyd Mayweather. I mean, no fighter stops the world like he does when he fights. Boxing, anybody, it really doesn't matter. McGregor is in a category of his own, and he is going to beat Dustin Poirier badly on January 23rd. And my Navy Federal balance is going to take a massive leap after that day. Okay. We're done with sports. Let me get another sip of my coffee. I have no clue how long we've been recording for. No clue. And we haven't made a lot of progress. I mean, we have made progress, just not outline-wise. Okay. Life update. I'll start with my car. I finally got my car back. Okay, it broke down right before my Vegas trip. If you guys remember, if you guys listened to that pod, I was going to Vegas on October 28th. I was supposed to leave on October 29th. I was driving. Oh, sorry. I thought someone was saying my sister just got back. So I was driving back home, and I made it probably an hour away from Radford, and that Janssen broke down. Absolutely horrible. Hate to see it. I slept in a hotel that night. I missed my flight the following morning, but shout out my dad. He made the flight for the next day. He rearranged it. Honestly, shout out. I didn't think I was going to be able to go, but that was a while ago. I already talked about that on the podcast. But yeah, I haven't had a car since October 28th. Very, very long time. I usually wouldn't care about that because I would just bike everywhere, but it is negative 37 degrees outside. So there was no chance I was biking around like I normally do. If it was the summer, I would, but I couldn't, or I could, but I didn't choose to. Okay. But I got it back on Friday. My mom drove me to Lexington where the car was. Massive, huge shout out to my mom and my grandfather for everything they've done relative to my car. Honestly, relative to my life, because shout out both them. Love them both so much. But in terms of my car, I'm just so happy I got it back. My mom drove me down to Lexington. We picked it up. We got lunch. We hung out for a little bit. And then the car was in the boonies. I mean, it was literally in the middle of nowhere, but there was a McDonald's. We got some energy drinks. We just chatted for a little bit. And then we drove back. I drove back home. I got the car just chilling in the driveway right now. I got some LED lights for the car. I'm going to put it on probably today. They're called, they're just like, I mean, car LED lights, but they're like Guve, I think is the brand, or I don't know how you pronounce it, but you just put them under the seats and then you download the app and then you have LED lights in your car. Okay. I got to check the group chat real quick. Okay, sorry. I'm back. I just had to check the group chat. It was a buzzing, and I had it on silent, but then I went to my messages, and I had hundreds of messages, so I was just very confused what had happened. Okay, yeah, got the car back. Super excited. Shout out my mom. Shout out my grandfather. Much love to you guys. It just feels good. It feels good to have a car again. I'm on my own time. That's the thing that kills me most is when you don't have a car, you're not on your own time. And I don't like being that guy that asks people for rides. I just feel like I'm being an annoyance to them. So I usually just don't do anything. I usually just, I'll walk. I sometimes will bike, or if I can get someone in my family to take me, or if I absolutely need to, I'll ask for a ride. But I wasn't really doing much just because I didn't have the car. It kind of sucked ass, honestly. I can't lie. But I got it back nevertheless. Let's go. The kid's back on the road. 2007 Mazda CX-9 Sport Edition. Let's go. 4-wheel drive. I will demolish anything in the snow. I'm a big snow driver. I with my old Pacifica in high school, I used to pick people up whenever it would snow, and I'd go to this parking lot that I'm a fan of, and I would just rip donuts. It was so much fun. I can't wait to do that again with this car. I love that stuff. Yeah. So shout out the car. Shout out Mazda. Shout out my boy Wayne for fixing the car, even though he promised me a couple dates that came and went. So don't think I don't remember that. But buddy, I mean, I understand it's a very small shop, and it is what it is. I mean, I got the car back. Ain't no complaints. What's that say? I say ain't no complaints. Racks in the bank, racks. And then there's blank what you think. I'm telling you, man, these solo episodes are something else. I've had people tell me though on the last one, they were like, dude, you seem so natural when you do the solo ones. Yeah, it's just because I lose my mind. I mean, honestly, like last time I did it, I was only awake for like an hour. This time I've been awake for like 10 minutes before starting. So it's just like, and I'm the weird, like people that know me, like I'm so weird in the morning. Like it's just like my thoughts are like crazy because I dream, like I have some crazy dreams. So I'll wake up with that same energy. Like if I have a dream of like literally, I'm not even lying. 2 days ago, I had a dream that I was a prize fighter in Vegas and I flew out all my friends for all my fights and I was nasty. Like, how weird is that? I mean, like I was basically Conor McGregor in Vegas with all my friends there, but I'm not. I'm not that at all. I'm not like that's just didn't make sense. But then I woke up and I was like, I'm that dude, and I went to the gym and just like had a different energy that day because I just felt like I was that guy. But I'm definitely not that guy. So another life update. Ski trip. I went to Wisp Resort. Shout out Jordan. Shout out Jordan and Jordan's neighbors because Jordan's neighbors gave her the house. Man, this was a beautiful crib in Deep Creek, Maryland, right on the water. Absolutely beautiful. We had 10 people there. So for all you COVID freaks, no offense. I mean, COVID is very real. I'm just saying, like, we had 10 people. We were under 10 people. 10 was the max. That's what we peaked at. So we were up to standards. We were following the rules as much as we could. But yeah, it was a phenomenal trip. I had such a good time. I mean, I literally had such a great time. I'd only gone skiing once before that, and that was at Bryce 3 years ago with my dad. And so I went snowboarding the first day in Bryce, and this is 3 years ago. And then I went skiing the second day. I was horrible at snowboarding, and I was okay at skiing. So for this trip, prior to it, I'm telling myself, look, we're going to give snowboarding another go. We're going to give it a try. Let's get after it. I rent the snowboard the first day. I don't put it on. I get my size. I fill out the stuff. I get it. I take the board outside and I start to see these people going to the lift on their snowboard with one leg in, one leg out, like pushing themselves like to the ski lift. And I look at some of my friends that are snowboarding and I'm like, no chance. Like, there's no chance I learn how to do that in 2 days. That's just not happening. I'm going to ski. And everyone's like, dude, like, come on, like, give it a shot. And I'm like, no, because once I get out there, like, I don't know if I'll be able to return it, but I literally just got it. Like, let me just see if I can return it real fast. And the guy actually said it's like a $15 fee to change it. But he was like, don't worry about it. He was like, if anyone asks, just say you paid me, but I'm not going to make you pay me. So shout out that guy. Didn't get his name or anything, but shout out that guy. Man, so I got the skis. And I surprised myself. I don't want to give myself too much credit, but I surprised myself. I was pretty damn good. I did the bunny slope like twice, and then I was ready for green, did green like twice, and then I did blues the entire weekend. But the thing is, I wanted to try black, but it didn't snow while we were there. And my friends, I had two friends that went on Black Diamond, and they were saying that it just wasn't good. It was too icy, and they weren't putting fake snow on it. They were putting fake snow on the rest of the trail, but they weren't really putting it on Black Diamond. So how I looked at it is I want my first Black Diamond to be special. Like, I want it to be on beautiful snow, like fresh. I want my ski game to be where like way better than it is before I try Black Diamond. I definitely could have tried it and probably not died, but I was just like, I just want it to be special. You know what I mean? And I'm cool with doing the blues. I mean, I'm fine with that. It was fun. So we had a great time. Skiing, snowboarding, our group was very mixed. It was a phenomenal week. And a couple of the parents, like Juliana's mom and Jack's mom, both made food, and a bunch of parents sent down like snacks and stuff like that for us. But yeah, they made dinners. One night we had chicken Alfredo. One night we had fajitas. One night we had chili. It was so awesome. And then the last night, I think it was Jordan's neighbors, the people that we rented the house from for free. They gave us like a $200 budget to get whatever food we wanted for dinner. They were like, it's on us. And we got Lido's pizza, and we got like 50 wings and a bunch of pizza. And it was so awesome. So the food was smacking. The food was delicious. I cannot lie. But the trip itself was just so much fun. I mean, hell, I'll start with, I was the last one in the house. I pulled up last. And when like all the guys were sleeping in the basement, and there was two rooms, and one of the rooms was right when you get down the staircase. The room's right there. And there were two bunk beds in that. So 4 beds total. My hand was behind the microphone. 4. Okay. It's all taken. Like they're all taken. So I'm like, damn, do I got to sleep on the couch? So I take my bags and I go to the next room. It's a queen bed by itself with no one in there. And I was like, okay, threw my bags down. This is mine. This is my private room. I don't have to share a room with anyone. Honestly, like I would have loved to share the room with the guys just because like no one would have slept. I mean, I'm not letting people go to bed if I'm in that room. Like I'm literally making jokes 24/7 until 5 in the morning. So it's probably better for everyone else that I wasn't in that room because no one would have gone to bed. But sleeping in my own bed was nice. I mean, it was relaxing. I mean, I was able to get some work done if I needed to. I was able to just chill out. I mean, demolish food however late I wanted to. I'm not making a lot of noise. I mean, I was making a lot of noise, but it was just to myself. You know, if I wanted to FaceTime someone, I was able to just go in my room, close the door, and do it. So it was very nice. The trip was legendary. Huge shout out to everyone that went on the trip. It was so awesome. It was like a part two of I remember in one of my podcasts earlier this summer, I was talking about it when we went to Gettysburg with Jack's family. It was like the same group, but like 4 more people. And that trip was legendary. But there were some things that happened on that trip that shall not be named that was just disappointing. And that stuff did not happen on this trip. So it was so awesome. They had a hot tub outside and it was like negative 16 degrees. So going in the hot tub was beautiful. The lake was frozen over. At least there was like a thin layer of ice. I went out there. I went like 2 feet out to see how far I could make it without falling in. And I felt like I was going to fall in. So I turned back around and didn't go that far. Yeah. Great weekend. Great weekend. The vibes were legendary. The amount of money I spent was insane. I would do it again in a heartbeat, though. I mean, these are the memories you got to live for. I mean, sheesh, when you're in college, we're still young, going away with the homies for 4 days, skiing. I mean, like massive house, beautiful house. And let me just not forget. We're in a cabin, all right? Obviously, cabins, a lot of wood, okay? We walk in this house, wood floors, wood cabinets, wood walls, antiques on the wall that are made of wood. Everything in this house is wood, basically. I look at Jordan. I look at her square in the face. Jordan, this is like the first couple minutes I'm in this house. Jordan, there's no way I lose a bet in this house with all the wood. I can literally knock anywhere in this house, and I just unjinxed everything that just happened. I started off 6-0 in this crib. Then I lost the bet. So I started with the parlay the first day because I got there on Sunday, and I did Redskins, Raiders, Packers. Redskins were the night game against the Eagles that night. They won. Okay, so the parlay, I'm 3-0 on bets. Parlay hits. Next one, Pacers versus it was Pacers versus Pelicans, Warriors versus Kings. Parlayed Warriors with the Pacers. Warriors won by a lot. Pacers were down by like 9 with like a minute and a half left, and I shut my laptop off. I was kind of salty. I was like, damn, man, something about this house. I felt like I wasn't going to lose in this house. Turn the laptop off. I get an update on my phone, that little ESPN, that. I look at it. Pacers down 4 with 30 seconds left, or Pacers down 5 or something like that. I turn it back on. Pacers proceed to hit 2 threes, send it into overtime, 1 in overtime. I hit the parlay. I'm 5-0. I can't believe what just happened. Then the next game, we bet on the Nets. We took the plus 4.5 against the Jazz. They beat the Jazz by like 40 or something like that. Dom and I were just rolling. I mean, the bet that lost, though, how I said I went 7-1, the one bet that lost was the Clippers. It was Clippers. I don't remember who they were playing, but they were a -7, and they lost by like 3. It was a good game, but they lost nevertheless. So that was my only loss. Costco and I were attacking cryptocurrency that weekend, or this week, or last week, or whatever. During the trip, we got obsessed with crypto. I mean, I've always been big into crypto. I think he has too, but we hammered down on crypto. Like I put a lot of money into crypto, and I finished the trip up 32% on crypto. So I covered basically all my costs on the trip just from gambling. I mean, if you want to count crypto's gambling, I would say. I mean, it's investing. I mean, come on, there's a little bit of a difference, but at the end of the day, come on. That trip was honestly legendary, though. Huge shout out, massive shout outs. You got to love to see it. I would love to go again, Jordan, if maybe a summer edition. I mean, lake's right there. They had kayaks outside right by the hot tub, and I'm one of the I want to rip a kayak, but Frozone Lake, not a chance. Probably not a good idea. But yeah, I really want to go back in the summer just because like it was just so much fun. It was literally legendary. I love that trip so much. My stomach was dead though for like 2 days after the trip. Like I feel like I'm just now coming back into my own body. after, because I just got back on Friday. I'm only been back for 72 hours, but yeah, I feel good. I feel real good, actually. Yeah, great trip, phenomenal trip. I love everyone that went on that trip. There you go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, now let's get into the fan questions. The fan questions. Let's get after it. Okay, first one. I had this question actually from a couple different people, but I'll just say the first person that asked it was Johnny Richardson. Shout out my boy Johnny Richardson. We went to Eagle Ridge together back in the day. And now I think he goes to Tennessee. But this is a good question. I usually don't talk politics on my show just because I don't really usually concern myself with politics too much. Like I try to be somewhat knowledgeable on what's going on, but I just don't submerge myself probably as much as I maybe should, just because I like to focus on myself and what I'm passionate about. And politics is not really something that I'm super passionate about. But nevertheless, this is something that I feel like I should talk about. His question was, what are your thoughts on the Capitol getting stormed on Wednesday? I think it was a madness. I had no clue any of that stuff was going to happen. I don't think anyone knew the extent of that it was going to happen as well. I just wake up on Wednesday. Of course, like I said, I have a horrible sleep schedule. I wake up at like 1:00. I'm the last one to get up at the cabin, and I go upstairs and they have on the news, and it's just the Capitol, just literally like thousands of people outside the Capitol. And I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, oh, dude, the Capitol's getting like stormed right now. And I was like, damn, like, really? Like, that's kind of surprising. Like that just doesn't seem likely. That does not seem like something that should be happening. So I went back downstairs. I did a little bit of research. Man, one thing I will say, regardless of what side you sit on, Trump lost. He has to accept that. Okay. It was the people spoke. It was a fair election and he lost. He lost. I don't know what else you want me to say. You cannot be a sore loser. You have to be humble in victory and you have to be humble in defeat in all aspects of your life, whether it's a sporting event or whether it's a U.S. election and you just lost. It does not matter. Accept your loss like a man, tip your cap to the person that beat you, and have a peaceful transfer of power. He's not doing any of that right now. I mean, he's never been really doing any of that, but he's not doing any of that, especially right now. He sounds like a lunatic. Now, when I went back and listened to his I don't know, not a press conference, but his gathering before they stormed the Capitol, and he's like, we're going to march down there and all this stuff. Like, dude, relax. Like, what do you, I truthfully don't understand his philosophy or his like ideology behind like some of the stuff that he says. He just sounds like a lunatic, and it sounds like he's just being a sore loser. Like I don't really know like how else to put it. As far as the Capitol getting stormed, that is just unbelievable. I don't know how. I mean, obviously they weren't prepared. I mean, very obviously they weren't prepared for that, for a situation like that to happen. But I just don't know how you let that many people get that close or even get into the Capitol. Now, rest in peace to everyone that lost their life. That condolences to them and their families. That is extremely upsetting. But when something just catastrophic like that happens, I just don't know. And there's so much else like to unpack. Like if that was the Black Lives Matter protests, for instance, how would that have gone? Would it have been only 4 people died? No, I would say no. I would say it would have been a lot more aggressive in terms of the retaliation that law enforcement gives them. But since it was Trump supporters, I think they went a little bit softer on them, and that's not fair. I think everyone should be treated equally, regardless of what protests you're going after or whatnot. It's just, it was extremely upsetting. It's terrible. It's a terrible look for our country. It's a terrible, not just look. I mean, what does it really matter how our country looks? It's just, I mean, like it's just not good. It's just not good for democracy. It's just, it's terrible. I mean, Trump needs to get over it. You lost. He's not going to the inauguration I saw, but Pence is. It's just, I mean, man, what's going on? Like you're just being a sore loser, and you will now go down in history as just a bad, like, I don't even know. Like just it's horrible. Like it's terrible. Like humble in victory, humble in defeat. He's not either. Hate to see it. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I had a lot of people ask that question, so I felt like I should have brought it up. Hopefully, I answered it in depth as much as I could have. I'm just really not that knowledgeable on politics. Honestly, like I said, I submerge myself as much as I want to, but I'll never overload myself because I'm obsessed with so many other things. So I don't really want to spend a lot of my time learning about that type of stuff. But I'll always listen to people's opinions, and I'll always if I'm in person, I'll talk about it as much as I want. But when I'm talking about it on camera, it's just like I'd rather talk about sports. Like I'd rather talk about these other fan questions. But that was a massive thing that happened in our country, and it was very recent. So it is important to be talked about. Johnny, thank you very much for that question. Hope you're doing well, big dog. Okay. Which one should we get into next? Okay, my boy Patrick Reblin. Shout out Patrick. Went to Radford with him. He graduated like 2 years ago, though. We were in the same fraternity. He asked me, how would you escape the police in a car chase? I love this question. I love this question so much. Okay, how would I escape the police? We'll say I'm on, just for the sake of the story, I'm going to say I'm on a bike, okay? I'll say I'm on a Kawasaki Ninja that is zooming down Route 7 or something like that. Or we can say a car, just a fast car. It doesn't really matter. Whatever it is, this is what I'm doing, okay? I go 150 miles an hour past the police, okay? They turn on their lights. I see them turn on their lights, okay? This is how I would escape them. I would wait. I would let them maybe catch up a little bit, right? So they're like kind of tailing me, all right? Then I'm going like, I'd want them going like 120 miles an hour, and I'm going like 125, okay? So we're both going similar speeds, okay? What I would do is I would ride the right lane right next to an exit, okay? And you know how when there's an exit, like before the exit, like I can't really tell because like this is like, it's kind of backwards. So anyway, but for the people watching on YouTube, I tried to explain it with my hands, but it didn't work out at all. Okay, what I would do is I would get really close to an exit, and then I would act like I'm staying straight. But as soon as I get close to this is why I feel like being on a bike would be easier than doing it in a car, because I might die very, very quick if I'm in a car. I would wait until I get real close to the guardrail, and I would cut it and take the exit. And hopefully he is so close and going so fast next to me that he doesn't have time to make that same turn. Like I'm saying, like I'm willing to risk my life to make this turn on this exit, but I want to sell it so much that I'm going straight. So I don't want to start to veer early or something like that. Like I literally want to be in the right lane near the exit, but just full head of steam forward and never look over. I feel like you give it away with your eyes. I mean, if you're looking forward, but if you start to look right at that exit, the cop might be like, damn, this guy he might make a book to the right. So he might start to prepare for it, but maybe even look left, like give him a fake, like go fast, look left, and then cut it right and just take that exit. And like I said, try to but get very close to the guardrail, because the closer you get to the guardrail, the less likely he will be to be able to make that turn. Let's say he makes that turn and let's say it's nighttime or something like that. I'm just turning off my lights. This is very dangerous, but I'm going as fast as I can, and I'm going dark. I 0 dark 30, no lights on. That's the only way I really think you can get out of it. Because I mean, if you keep your lights on, he can just maybe see where you're going, but you cut them and you take as many turns as possible. You find neighborhoods, you turn here, you turn there, you act like this is your driveway. You do this, you do that. Never get out of your car. And let's hope you filled up at the nearest Exxon before you got caught or before you got chased. I love that question. I would love to be in a police chase. Not actually, but I mean, I've done pretty well in Grand Theft Auto. Like I've gotten 5 stars so many times and overcame it. So I think I would do well in a police chase. Honestly, I love that. I love that. I love those type of questions. Yeah. I'm saying I get out of that police chase, especially if I'm on a bike. If I'm on a bike, like if I'm on Kyle's bike, it's a barbecue chicken wrap with ranch or buffalo chicken wrap with ranch on the side, whatever sides you like with your buffalo chicken wraps. Okay. Ben Kling, my boy Ben, thank you for that question, Patrick. I love that type of question. Okay. Ben Kling asked, who is the NBA GOAT? Man, I feel like these are one of those questions that I can just talk about for hours. I really feel like I can just go on and on and on. I can make a whole show just about this, but obviously it's very obvious that it is between Michael Jordan and LeBron James. I mean, it depends on how you want to look at it. I mean, Michael Jordan has that killer dog mentality. I mean, he went 6-0 in finals. He was that guy that he's always taken the last shot, regardless, make or miss. He wants it to fall on his shoulders, similar to Kobe Bryant, where he's got that dog mentality. And I'm not saying LeBron doesn't, but LeBron is a team player first. Like, he does whatever it takes for the team to win. And like he like earlier in his career, he would pass a lot at the end of the games. He wouldn't take the final shot. I mean, his record in the finals is not nearly as good, but he's gone to a lot more. I mean, Jordan is 6-0, and I think LeBron is like 3-9 maybe, or like 3-8. No, probably less than that. Probably like 3-6 maybe, or like I'm not exactly sure. But he's been to a lot of finals. Overall, though, I mean, the NBA GOAT. Now, when I break that down, greatest of all time, obviously is what GOAT stands for. Who do I want to start a basketball team with? If I'm a general manager and I can draft one player, I'm going with LeBron just because, I mean, bro, he's so durable. Like, this guy he's been in the league for 19 years and he's still the best player in the league. And he's showing no signs of slowing down. Now, yeah, Jordan, he's more of a winner, you could say. And, it's one of those things like, yeah, Jordan, I just think personally, I may be biased too, because I grew up watching LeBron. Now, let's say I'm 40 years old right now. And when I was 20, Michael Jordan was dominating basketball while I'm alive. I probably would say Michael Jordan just because that's just how it works. Usually it's hard to appreciate. I mean, these are like impressionable years in our life. And, like when you're like 15 to like 25, like when you look up to big athletes. So like, of course, LeBron is a massive role model for myself and probably a lot of other people. He's just a great guy. And I'm not saying Michael Jordan wasn't. I mean, watching The Last Dance in May was brilliant. I mean, I love The Last Dance. It gave me a whole new perspective on MJ's mentality and what they went through as a team during that era. I mean, if you haven't seen The Last Dance, go watch it. But man, I mean, you asked the question, I have to answer it. Who is the NBA GOAT? LeBron James. They're going to win another championship either this year or next year. I think they go back to back. The thing is the closer. Wait, no, LeBron has won 4, right? Yeah, he's won 4. He won 2 in Miami. Yeah, I said he won 3 a couple minutes ago. He won 2 in Miami, 1 in Cleveland. Yeah, so he's got 4. Jordan's got 6. If he wins one more, I think he captures that GOAT status. He'll always have a worse record, but damn, I mean, bro, how many championships are we going to give this guy before he's not considered the GOAT? Or before it's an argument? Like, I don't know. It will just always be an argument because MJ was the first of his kind. I mean, the shoe brand, the international presence, he was just that dude. And he still is. I mean, The Last Dance showed that he still has a massive audience. So I don't know. That is just a topic that will always be discussed. And I don't know. I will do. Thank you very much for that question, Ben. I will definitely do a podcast at some point just talking about that. And I'll bring in stats and I'll get people on the phone and I'll ask for their opinions and stuff. I think that'd be a good episode to do because I feel like that's a real 50-50 answer for a lot of people, especially once you start getting into the older audience. Like if you ask parents, and I mean, a lot of people say MJ, but a lot of people our age say LeBron. So I don't know. It's a little bit different. Okay. Thanks for that question, Ben. Now we're going to get into, let's see, which one should we get into? Okay. Juliana Savaro, shout out. She said, what is something positive that the pandemic brought you? I mean, the pandemic kind of brought me the podcast in a way, just because I was kind of doing it. I was doing it like once every couple of weeks at school. And then when the pandemic hit, I bought the microphone and I literally started recording them heavy in March when the pandemic, like when we got sent home for spring break, that's when I really started to get after it and pump them out like every 6 days. So as far as that, I'd say the pandemic, but it definitely brought me closer to myself. And that might sound weird, but I learned a lot about myself because my parents, they're a little bit older, so they weren't really with me going out that often. So from March, I would say to like March to June, I didn't really leave my house. I mean, so I that's when I started challenging myself with the bike goals. For people that Snapchat me, they know that I was out on the trail every single day, literally every single day. I'm not even kidding. It was crazy. So yeah, I challenged myself a lot. I read a little bit. I don't read that much anymore, but I read some books back during the pandemic. Yeah, challenging myself with physical activity, mental activity. I mean, it's just one of those things that I learned a lot about myself. I learned what I like, what I don't like, what I look for in other people as far as like when I'm making friends, how to treat people. Like I just learned a lot. Like I said, more so about myself. So hopefully I didn't sound like a selfish answer, but it's one of those things that like when you're young, like we're still young, like 21, 20 years old, like we're still figuring out who we are and what we want to do with our life. And we're trying out different ideas and personalities and just we're trying to become comfortable with ourselves. And I feel like this year was I really discovered like who I am and what I want to do with my life. Not necessarily that like this is one thing I want to do with the rest of my life, but it's like I know I want to go down this route and I want to lead this way of this, like, you know what I mean? I want to, I don't know, it's hard to explain. I should have probably written down some thoughts with that question because that's a loaded question. I love that type of question, Juliana. But yeah, I would just say if you're someone that's struggling with finding out who you are, just take a break. Just take a break from everything. Like I'm not saying you need to delete social media and stuff, but that type of stuff can really weigh down on you when you're not doing much and you look and you see this person or this person is constantly looking like they're having a great time. Like social media is nothing. Like social media is literally like a glowed up version of what your life actually is. I mean, look at you edit the picture, you get the good caption, you take this angle, you want to put this out, you took 10 pictures, but this one looked the best and this is the one you think is going to get the most likes. Like none of that stuff matters. Like straight up, like when you go to bed, that doesn't matter. When you're, God forbid, when you're on your deathbed, that doesn't matter. Like you're not going to worry about how many likes did I get on that picture in 5th grade when I was at the beach. No one cares. Like take a break from social media. Like that stuff just doesn't matter. That stuff is detrimental to your success. It can be. Now you can it can also work towards you though. I mean, like social media can make you a happier person if you choose to be, if you limit how much time you spend on it, if you get your algorithm right. Like my TikTok's fire. I mean, come on, my TikTok is like, I never have a bad time on TikTok. Like I go on there, I get funny sports content. I get, you know, a little bit of this I get. And, you know, it's a great time. I love going on TikTok. I slept on TikTok for a while, but that's one of the apps that I just don't get sick of. Same with Snapchat. Cause I just like keeping up with like, what everyone's up to. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not that I really care that much, but it's like, oh, like this person's on vacation. Like, hope you have a good trip, man. Like, you know what I mean? Just quick little, like, good luck to you. Or like, I don't know. It's just Snapchat and TikTok. I enjoy a lot, but Instagram, I don't really go on that much anymore. Twitter, I just go on for my news. YouTube, if you want to count YouTube as a social media, that is disgusting how much I'm on YouTube. I mean, like seriously, like I spend so many hours a day on YouTube. It's violent. I don't know if this is even relative. I feel like I just took this question and went offshore with it. But Juliana, thank you very much for that question. If anyone's going through anything, man, please reach out. I always love giving people advice, or just if you just want to vent to me and you just want to like just talk about something, or just I don't know. I'm always here for anyone that's listening, whether I know you or not. Reach out, and I will always try my hardest to give you the best advice, or even like I said, if you don't want advice and you just want someone to talk to, like I can listen. Honestly, I talk a lot, but I can listen. I can try. Okay, shout out Juliana, go Skins, huge Skins fan. Sorry I couldn't slide through for the game. She had some people over for the game, and she was saying, "Can you watch it?" or like slide through and watch it. But I was watching it with my old man. And yeah, her parents are legendary. Shout out Sue, shout out Sue, and shout out Frank the Tank. I've known them. I mean, Juliana went to St. Teresa. We went to St. Teresa together. I've known her since like 4 years old. She was on the trip with us. Her mom makes good fajitas. Let's not lie. Sue, if you're listening, you make phenomenal fajitas. Keep it up. I love it. Okay. Next question. My boy Jake Jones. He asked, "Is it okay to drink plain milk?" I mean, it's okay to do whatever you want for sure, but yeah, I'm saying yeah. So I think that's how he worded the question. I think what he meant though is, no, I'm sorry if this isn't how you meant it, but is it okay to just go downstairs and pour a glass of milk and nothing else, just drink it? Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think so. People might hear that and be like, "Ugh, like, nah, man, you need to get some cereal, or you need to get some cookies or something like that." Man, I think milk is good, especially at night. I don't know why, but milk tastes better at night. I am a massive cereal guy. I love Frosted Flakes are probably my favorite. Excuse me. Little coffee break right there. Oh, the coffee's getting cold. Might as well put some ice in there. Need an ice check. Yeah, milk is definitely okay to drink plain. I wonder what type of milk everyone's digging, though. I wish I could just throw out a poll real quick. I like usually when I'm back at school, I'll drink whole milk just because I don't know why. But when I'm back here, my dad usually buys 2%. So I like both. I think they're both pretty similar. Now, so my sister used to drink like the fat-free milk, and every now and then I'd get some of that. Nah, that stuff is water, man. Like that's literally like 40% water. Not a fan of that. But yeah, whole milk, 2% milk. Not a fan of almond milk. I don't really know if there's any other types of milk out there. There probably is. I just can't think of them. But yeah, man, for sure, it's okay to go downstairs and pour yourself a glass of milk. People might hear this and be like, "Ugh," but I don't care, man. I mean, come on, like, I mean, milk is milk. Leche is leche. Donde está la leche? Shout out Jake. Keep it rolling, man. I see you with the Instagram accounts. I can't wait to see your podcast come out. I know when I did the one with you, you were talking about get it out soon. So hopefully we can see some content on the way. But yeah, he's got the clothing line. He's just, I mean, guy's a huge supporter of content creators, and that's why I'll always support him. Doing that episode with him was legendary. I think that was episode 37, I think. So check that one out if you haven't checked it out. Guy's a legend. Yeah, shout out Jake for that question, man. Love to see it. Okay. Dirty Nikes on IG. He slid up. He didn't have a name, and his name is just Dirty Nikes. It said he was a producer, though. That's what his like label was. So I don't know what that means, but shout out you for this question because I love boxing. What are your thoughts on Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis? If you don't know, these are two young boxers. Gervonta Davis fought on Halloween and got a nasty uppercut knockout. He slipped and went boop and got him with the uppercut. He was chasing that uppercut all night. He got the knockout, though. Ryan Garcia just fought on January 2nd against Luke Campbell. He was projected to beat the brakes off Luke Campbell, but in the second round, Luke Campbell he literally just, I think he went jab because he's a southpaw. He went jab with the right hand, but he barely threw it. He kind of like snap jabbed it, threw it back, put the right hand covered up, and just blew up into a overhand left and landed right on Garcia's jaw and knocked him down. That was the first knockdown of Garcia's career. He got right back up, though, and proceeded to finish Luke Campbell with a body shot, I think in the 7th round. So, I mean, the young kid, I mean, Garcia was only 22 years old. I think Luke Campbell was 30 or 31. So he had some age and experience on him. But Garcia showed, man, that he's resilient, that he's got that dog in him because every other fight, he gets a knockout pretty early. So this was his first time that he had to go through adversity. I mean, he got knocked down for like, you know what I mean? Like that's a big deal. I mean, like when you get knocked down in boxing, especially not on a body shot and it's flush on your jaw, you're rocked. I mean, you're stunned. So he was able to stay composed and come back and eventually finish Luke Campbell, which is impressive. So, but as far as Garcia versus Gervonta Davis, both guys are undefeated, both young. Gervonta Davis is 4 years older than him. That fight will be for the title. I'm taking Gervonta Davis, man. I mean, he's a dog, and Luke Campbell showed that Garcia will fold if you hit him hard enough. I mean, obviously, Garcia will learn a lot from that punch. It may not expose himself to a massive punch, but all it takes is one. And when you're fighting someone like Gervonta Davis, he hits so much harder than Luke Campbell. It's not even funny. So if he lands that shot on Ryan Garcia, even if it doesn't knock him out, but it knocks him down, it's going to be a different fight because he's going to see what Luke did and correct it. And he's going to maybe stay more composed, maybe go down to the body. I don't know. Like, I just think Gervonta Davis will take that fight. I don't know what the odds are. I'm sure they already have odds out for it, even though it's not official, but I would take Gervonta Davis in that fight. And then we'll get to see Gervonta Davis versus Devin Haney. And that is the fight I think the people need to see the most because that's just a big fight for boxing. But we got to get through Garcia Davis first. Gervonta Davis is from Baltimore too. So, I mean, kind of local if you're asking me. So, yeah, I'm taking Gervonta Davis in that fight. Shout out Dirty Nikes for that question. I love boxing or fighting related questions. Okay, my man Benji, he asked, what chapter of your life are you currently in? I would say the first chapter, maybe the second. I don't know. I mean, I would say the second, just because I don't know how like that's a good. That's a very like unpack it however you want type of question. I would say the first chapter of my life was probably like middle school and high school, where I'm just like a menace. Like I am just like the first chapter of my book, you would be like, damn, like this kid was a psycho. Like honestly, like now I never got in any, like I not in legal trouble or like I was doing like all sorts of like crazy stuff, but I was just like off the rails, man. If that makes, I mean, if you were friends with me, you definitely know. Like I've simmered down a lot. Like I'm still that guy, but like when I want to bring it out, I do. But like that guy was coming out like every other day. Like I was just a menace. Like I was just making jokes all the time. Like I love making jokes, but like just being an all around savage. And so I've definitely toned it down. So I would say that's the first chapter of my book. But now, currently, I would say I'm in that early stage of grinding, I would say. I mean, like I have ideas of what I want to do with my life, but now it's like, how can I position myself to attack that route or achieve what I want to achieve? It's really just like I'm someone about pace. Like that's why I don't really I only put out content when I want to, but like I know that like if I attacked certain people and wanted to get big time interviews, like I could. It's just like, I just don't want to. I'm someone that's like really slow and steady because I don't want to burn myself out. Like I just want to do what I want to do at the pace I want to do it at, and as long as I stay true to myself, I won't lose. Like I can't, like and I don't mean to sound cocky when I say that, but it's like if I know what I want to do with my life, anything is possible, straight up. And it's just about pacing yourself and knowing that great things take time. And that is honestly some of the best advice I could give to someone is just nothing is going to happen overnight, whether it's getting over something that went wrong in your life or anything. It's like great things take time, and you need to struggle to understand how great something can be. I mean, I think it was 50 Cent. He was like, without joy or without pain, joy wouldn't feel as good. Or so, I don't know. It's like weird lines like that, but it's like if you break it down, like it's kind of true. Like without struggle, like you don't really know how low you can get. And the highs don't feel the same. And I know that's cliche, but it's true. So just, yeah, what chapter of my life am I in? Damn. Benji's getting deep with this question. Yeah, I'd say chapter 2, man. I would say chapter 1, this guy's crazy, and chapter 2, this guy is he's got something to him. I would say that would be the title of chapter 2. It'd be something to him. I don't know. That's kind of weird, but yeah, it's just one of those things that know what you like don't. This might sound cliche as like something else, but don't let someone dictate your life. Like don't think just because your dad or your mom did this job that you need to go down the same path, or if they majored in this, or you need to take this major because you make the most amount of money out of college. Forget all that, because you'll get better at something that you care about. So let's say you love oh man, like you love weight training, all right? You want to be a weight trainer. Yeah, that might not make you a lot of money out of college, but you'll get better at it if that's something that you are passionate about every day you wake up. Like if you wake up every day and you're excited to go to Golds and train people, you're going to get better at your job and you're going to be more eager to learn about that job field. Whereas if you don't give two shits about I don't know, like numbers, and you're a finance major and you're about to be an accountant or something like that, I don't know, like you're not going to be eager to wake up. You're going to dread your life. You're going to not want to go to work. You're not going to want to learn more about that job per se. So that's why I would say just focus, like at a young age, try to discover. Now give a bunch of things different tries, and so you know, but try to really pinpoint what you're passionate about in your life and get after it, whether it's politics or whether it's podcasting or content creating, or it doesn't matter, but just try to become passionate about one or multiple things, and don't lose sight of what you want to do. Like judgment doesn't matter. Don't be scared of anything. Don't be like, just get after it, man. Like, I don't know, like what does all this stuff matter? Like at the end of the day, a lot of the people that we're friends with now might not mean a lot. And that might be sad to say, because I mean, I'll be close to a lot of people that I'm friends with now, but it's like these people don't matter. Like, honestly, like they're a part of our life. They're a part of our story that we'll be able to look back on, but that doesn't mean they'll have a massive impact on our life. So don't be swayed into a certain category or a certain something. The GM is buzzing again, man. Jeez. Eagles just fired their coach. That's kind of surprising because they won the Super Bowl like 2 years ago with him. Okay, Benji, I love that question, man. I can't wait to keep rolling, man. I asked me that question in a couple more years, and we'll see what chapter of my life I'm on. That kid's, let's be real. That kid is putting on weight in the gym, man. I mean, when we started school, he was like this year in August. I want to say he was like 165. Now he's like pushing 200. I mean, I saw him the other day on his Instagram. He's repping like 225 on bench. Like, dude, that's crazy. Like, that's honestly impressive, man. Good for Benji. That guy, he's someone that he's capable of doing whatever he wants. He just needs to be focused on it. And no distractions. I mean, girls are sometimes a distraction for my man Benji, and same with my roommate Adam. But it's one of those people, like, I just love those guys. But those are two guys that they can literally do anything with their life. Like, they are very smart, intelligent people, and they just need to focus. Now, I'm not saying they don't focus, but it's like whatever they decide that they want to do in their life, the sooner the better, because those guys are animals, and that's why I'm close with them. That's why I live with them. Can't wait to go back and see them. I go back to school in a week, and I'll go back and see them. So I'm pumped to get back to school and just be in a different atmosphere. I mean, I love being at home in Nova, but like I said, I didn't have the car until 2 days ago, so I wasn't really doing that much. So yeah, just being back at school, it's just a different vibe. It is a much different vibe. Okay, thanks for that question, Benji. Good question. All right, last question is what are your thoughts on JuJu Smith dancing before the games? Sam Rubino asked that question. Shout out Sam Rubino. Dude, Dom was actually telling me, Sam, that that you would always go up to him, or that you still go up to him, and you like reference that TikTok where you're like, you're trash, you're dog water, like you have no income, or I don't even know all the words. Sam, keep chirping Dom. Dom needs to be chirped more. That's the weirdest guy in the world, is Dom Rubino. Love the guy so much. Another one of my long-term friends since I've known since like 4 years old. But Sam, keep being a legend and keep chirping Dom. But as far as your question goes, what are your thoughts on JuJu dancing before the games? I mean, damn, he was doing it all season. It was just one of those things where no one really noticed until they started to lose. Like, he was dancing, he danced like 6 times before they lost to the Redskins. But so people don't really start paying attention. I mean, it's all fun and games, but when you're winning, you can do anything in life, like especially in the NFL. When you're winning, you can quite literally do anything because you're winning. And what are you going to say to a winner? Like, if you don't want a winner to do something, beat them. If not, don't talk about what they do. But when they started to lose, that's when people took notice to, hey man, this guy's doing TikToks. And people will always be quick to kick a loser when they're down. And I don't necessarily agree with that, but I mean, dancing, that's just his thing. I mean, this guy has a YouTube channel. He's had a YouTube channel for many years. He does TikToks. Now, when you lose multiple games in a row and you're still doing it, that's where I don't understand it. Like, that's why I just don't understand. Like, look, you lost to the Redskins. Okay. You go to Buffalo the next week and you dance on their logo. There's literally video of Josh Allen in the locker room with the team before the game, and they're like getting ready to chant and like do some stuff. And he's like, we're going to let them make all the mother effing TikToks they want. Let them do all the dancing. We're here to be violent and we're here to play football. Let's go beat their ass. I love that. Like, as a sports fan, I love that, because look, you lose once, you do okay, but when you've lost multiple games in a row and you're still out there dancing on logos, your mind isn't right, like, or not right. It's your mind is not where it should be. Like, you should be fired up for this game, not an hour before the game doing a dance and figuring out, like, bro, this is the NFL, man. I mean, like, obviously I understand it's all for content, and he's trying to be fun with it, and but it's just one of those things. Like, when you're winning, you can do what you want, but when you're losing, people will recognize that very quickly. And I mean, dude, he got blown up against the Bengals. Now, last night I put out a meme during the game when they were up 28-0 in the first quarter. I put out a meme that was it was kind of funny. It was JuJu Smith getting poked by a stick. It was like a stick figure poking him, and JuJu Smith is like face down, knocked out on the field, and he's like, "Come on, dance." Dude, it was a great Snapchat. I cannot lie, but I felt bad because it blew up. Like, it was within 2 hours, it was my most screenshotted Snapchat ever. That joint had 11 screenshots in an hour. And I'm not saying that's a lot. I mean, I know that's not a lot, but like, for a Snapchat of a meme of a team that's playing right now that not many people are fans of, I was like, okay, I've done my deed. I got to get this off my account. So I deleted it off mine, just because, like, they lost the game and there's no need to keep it up. And I don't want to be that guy that, like I said, kicks the loser when they're down. But damn, I mean, that meme got reposted a lot of places. So I'm proud of myself for that. But man, yeah, JuJu, I would like to see him leave I think the Steelers are going to blow up, honestly, this year. I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Tomlin leaves them. I wouldn't be surprised if Ben Roethlisberger retires. I wouldn't be surprised if JuJu Smith goes somewhere else. They had a good run, man. I mean, 11-0. There's nothing to be ashamed of 11-0, but 11-0 into a 1-5 record. I keep coming back, man. The Redskins. What did the Redskins do when they beat them, bro? They pressed up. They exposed the aggression that you can play them with. Like a lot of teams would sag off, and the Steelers earlier in the season would throw a little dump routes. But the Redskins were the first team to press up and try to penetrate the quarterback and press up on the receivers. So what the problem with that is you're susceptible to deep balls. But they couldn't do anything. And that's exactly what the Bills did next week. They pressed up and played aggressive on defense. The Bengals next week pressed up, played aggressive on defense. Browns pressed up, played aggressive. Like, it's just one of those things that, like, they just got exposed to a certain style of defensive play. And they just never really came back. So, Sam, I love that question. JuJu, I mean, that's my guy, man. I mean, I like him, man. Like, I can't lie. Like, I like JuJu Smith. I've been following him on Snapchat and YouTube and Instagram for like 2 years. I mean, I was a fan of him at USC. So I'm a fan of JuJu Smith-Schuster. It's just, man, some Steelers fans, I mean, like, they were just getting too amped up about this season. So, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. They would have lost to the Chiefs. It doesn't matter. Whoever won that game is losing to the Chiefs. So it's basically just delaying the inevitable. But Sam, shout out you for that question. Like I said, please chirp Dom, man. Just chirp the guy. Okay. Last segment is stock/crypto talk. I got to get my phone out because when I made this outline last night, Bitcoin was doing well. It was up 120% in the last month, 260% in the last 3 months, and 420% in the last year. They have a lot of institutional investors that are now coming in because prior to this year or prior to the last couple of months, a lot of Bitcoin investors are just people, like they're just people with a lot of money that are coming in. But now we got companies, we got massive institutional investors that are funneling billions of dollars. Like they'll put in like 1 or 2% of their company into Bitcoin, but these companies are so massive that 1 or 2% of their company is billions of dollars. And Bitcoin is just driven really off speculation. So when you see this in Bitcoin, you have so many people. What is that? What's that? Oh, something was on my glass. Has that always been on my glasses? Has that always been there this entire episode? That's the ring light, dude. That may have been there the entire like 2 hours. I'm just now noticing that. That looks kind of weird. I'm gonna take them off, dude. That looks weird. I don't like that. That may have been there the entire episode. That's kind of weird. It's like a little bullseye on my eye. I'm just now noticing that. But yeah, a lot of institutional investors have just come in recently, and that's just pumping the price up. But I woke up this morning and my account is in the red and I'm very confused. And that's because Bitcoin took a beating. Bitcoin is down to $31,000 right now. They're down 10% today. Dude, they were at $41,000 yesterday and now they're at 31,000. That's horrible. I sold out a little bit. I didn't sell out fully, but I sold out like half my investment last night at like 36,000. So I still made money because my average price of Bitcoin right now is $28,000. I own it at $28,000. So I'm right now I'm up 9%, but I might actually sell later today if it keeps taking a dip. I'm gonna put in a stop loss. Ethereum, that is down to 970. I don't know. It's just like I mean, I knew it was a little bit of a bubble because I mean, like obviously the institutional investors come in and it funnels it up, but like, dude, it went up like 120% in the last month. Like that's a massive jump. And you got to wonder what percent of that was a bubble. So obviously it deserves to go up a decent amount, but 120%, 130%, like that's a big jump. And there's not a lot of information behind that. So yeah, I thought it was a little bit of a bubble, but I was not expecting it to drop 12% in one day or 11% in one day. So we'll see if it comes back. But I mean, Bitcoin is definitely the future. I mean, it's one of those things that if you just look at it every 5 years, like if you go to 2009 to 2014 to 2019 to what it will be in 2024, it's just steadily increasing. Not even steadily. It's taking massive leaps, actually, now that I say it. So it's like, get in now. But like, I'm not saying get in now if you want to make money in a month. Like, I'm not saying, I don't recommend that. It could happen, but I don't recommend that. But if you put in $500, I'm not like, that's a lot of money, but if you put in $500 in Bitcoin right now, talk to me in 2025. Tell me what it's at in 2025, because I damn near guarantee you will have at least double your money, at minimum double your money. So patience. Like I said with Benji's question, great things take time, just like investments. Great things take time. Be patient and don't look at it every day, especially because crypto trades 24/7. Just be patient with your investments, guys. I mean, come on, like you'll make money, but just relax. Capital R, relax, cool the jets. Yeah, altcoins, alternative coins. That's what. Oh no, the microphone's starting to fall again. Yeah, altcoins are taking a nice little dip as well, just because Bitcoin is. Yeah, this microphone is gonna fall. This is bad. Okay. Anyway, we don't have too much left on this podcast. Yeah, Bitcoin, man, keep an eye on it. Now, Penn National Gaming. This is the stock I will recommend to you guys for today. They purchased Barstool on January 29, 2020. They are up over 2,000% since March. That is crazy. 2,000%. Let me go to it real quick. It's up 7.5% today. Look at it. If you're on YouTube, you can see it. It's over $100 a share. Okay. You go to its last year and you go to March. I don't know if you can see this. Okay, I can't do it and watch, but I'll just tell you. $7 in March. That's crazy. I mean, come on. And it was even low. Or no, that was 5 year. Sorry. Excuse my French. $4.52 on March 18th, 2020. $4.52. It is $100.96 right now. That's crazy. That's honestly nuts. And the thing is I still don't think it's done. Now, obviously, we have missed, or some of you guys have missed the massive jump that it took, but it's not done, dude. I mean, Barstool is massive, and they want to be the forefront leaders of gambling in the United States. They came out with Barstool Sportsbook. Sports gambling is only legal in like a handful of states. When that gets legalized across the country, that's what Barstool is going to switch into. Like, there'll be Barstool Sports, but Barstool Sports Book is going to be massive for them. And Penn National Gaming realized it. That's why they purchased them for $400 million or however much it was. It's just one of those things that, like, just be smart, invest, and be patient. I'm telling you, it's $100 a share. It will be massive in a couple years. It might be $700 a share in a couple years. So just get after it now. Now, they do fluctuate a lot. So maybe, I mean, yeah, like if you want to get it now, but it's one of those, like, it'll be up 7%, down 4%, up 3%, down 9%. It jumps a lot. I can't lie. So if you are a risky person and you think it's going to take a dip and you want to wait and you want to try to time it, wait. But if you're just someone that you just want to get it just so you have it and you want to be patient with it and not look at it for a couple years, get it now. What does it matter? Because it's $100 now. It will be over $100 in a couple years. So get your money, get your bread right while you can. And yeah, good luck to all investors. Shout out the stock market, shout out cryptocurrency, shout out sports betting. I love this stuff. I've been playing a lot of blackjack on my phone. I'm becoming obsessed with blackjack. When I was in Vegas, I played craps and I played a little bit of blackjack, but I did a lot of roulette. If I was to go back, or next time I go back, I'm just going to play blackjack for the majority of the time. Blackjack is addicting, dude. Like this game, I actually like need to put it down. It is so much fun. Okay, wrap up. That's done with the sports talk. But now we're going to wrap it up. It's like the advice of the week, but I'm holding it right here. It's like the advice of the week, but it's not really. I would just say you don't have to do this, but track your life in a journal or a notebook or something. Like, not necessarily like you have to like track your life, but it helps you stay organized. Like when you're at school, I don't know if people have planners, but like they write down, I got a test on this day. I got to study on this day. I'm doing this. I got a club meeting on this day or something like that. And you write it down. Now, another thing is, yeah, you want to write down your schedule. You can do that in the notes on your phone. But something about writing down your goals and aspirations and what you want to achieve in a given year, writing it down is very, I don't know. It's just something I've enjoyed doing. I got this in December of 2019. It's called an enlightenment planner. Okay. I'll open it. First off, I literally used it every single day this year. I wrote in it every single day. I made sure before I went to bed, I would write in it, and I'd write about my day. And the thing is I'll just show you what it looks like. So at the start of the week, you got a goals page and you just write down your goals. Now, I would write down my goals on the opposite page at the start of a month. So I'll show you what that looks like. I probably should have. Okay, look. So this is September 2020. Okay. So what it says is monthly goals, things to let go, and sustainable goals. I don't know. At the start of every month, you just write down what you want to achieve in that month. Okay. And then you have your calendar throughout the week. Okay. And that's where you write about your daily stuff. At the bottom of the page, it's your acts of kindness. If you did anything kind that stood out to you, I wouldn't write about that every week, but sometimes I would be like, oh yeah, I met this guy and this guy, I didn't have my swipe and he swiped into the building for me. You know, that's just like a random act of kindness that I appreciated. Okay. Weekly affirmation. This one says, don't be a bitch. I guess I was being a bitch this week. I don't know. But that was just my weekly affirmation myself, was don't be soft. Hopefully I listened to it. Honestly, I mean, I would say I did, because the next week I proceeded to write a lot. So these are just like, I just enjoy this stuff. But then at the end of the month, that was at the beginning of the month, but then at the end of the month, it's a look back at the month. And it's your biggest accomplishment, how daily meditation changed the way you feel. Even though I didn't meditate every single day, I haven't really meditated in a while, honestly. I used to meditate a little bit in high school, but that was just like when I was like a menace and I was like trying to get out of that. So like I probably should get into it now, but I just feel like I'm in a groove and I don't necessarily need to. Every now and then I will, just because it's like very calming, but it's something that I do when I need change in my life. And I don't necessarily think I need a lot of change right now. I think I just need to put my foot down and keep going with what I'm doing. But shout out that type of stuff though. Meditating, yoga. These are things that might sound weird, but who cares? Who cares? If it makes me feel better, I'm gonna do it, as I recommend everyone else should. Okay. Yeah, you got your achievements and stuff. Anyway, I love this. I love it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have this for life. And it's also very easy to look back and remember. Like if you have a specific day, you're like, dude, what did I do on let me just open up a random page. April 21st, 2020. Yeah, I edited a podcast montage. I did homework. I went to the gym. I hit chest. I don't know. I wrote about some other stuff that I can't really say, but yeah, I mean, I just love this. So now this is a part of my life and I'm going to put it in a safe that I have with a bunch of other treasured memories. And that's just something cool. But this year I got this. This is a little bit different. That's called the Enlightenment Planner for 2020. This is called the Wise Planner. And this is not cheap, honestly. It was like $30 on Amazon. These things are dummy expensive for no reason. But that was a full year. That's 12 months. This is only 6 months and it's a little bit thicker. So it's a lot more in depth. So I'm going to have to buy another one. I'm starting it on February 1st because it doesn't, it's not from January to June. It is just 6 months that are open whenever you want to start it. So if you wanted to start it today on January 11th, it would just max out on June 11th or something. You just buy another one. But I'm just waiting to, get ready on February 1st, and that's when I'm starting. But this one is intense. I mean, you got your goals and stuff with that one, but this is just like on steroids. Like this is like the steroid version of it. It's like achievement. I'll just open a random page. Achievements / wins this week, lessons learned, things to improve, this week's targets. And they got that for every week. And then there's also a place to write about everything that you do in a day. Like, because I like writing about my days. There's, your habit tracker, kind of weird, but kind of sick. You just track your habits and you rate them on a scale of 1 to 20 or 1 to 31 each day. And, no. Sorry. You don't rate it. You do it how many times you did it. So let's say biting your nails. I don't bite my nails, but let's say you bite your nails. You would put biting nails. How many times that week did you bite your nails? You put an X. So then you track how many times you did that habit. Okay. It could be good habits or bad habits. You know what I mean? It could be like going on a work or going on a run. Okay. Going on a run. How many times did I go on a run in a month? You know what I mean? X it out. So I just enjoy this stuff because it's something cool to look back on. It helps me remember because sometimes I don't have the best memory. So like sometimes going back and like looking and being like, oh yeah, that's what I did on this day. Or like that was a bad habit that I'm happy I was able to get over with sooner than later. And like I said, it's just me. I'm not saying everyone needs to go get one of these and write about your days and stuff, but it helps me. And that's really just important. And it gives me something to do at the end of the day. Like I always enjoy writing about my day at the end of the day and just looking back. And then, it is cool. It's something that I'm definitely going to keep doing for the rest of my life. I wish I had started it earlier, but last year was my first year doing it and I stuck by it. I mean, if you were with me, if I was ever sleeping, like we had a sleepover, like we were on vacation together or something, you probably saw me writing it. So, I love it. I bring it everywhere I go. If I'm sleeping out, I'll bring it. When I went on vacation this week, I brought it. I bring it everywhere. So, yeah, that is something that I'd recommend. It's just nice having, your goals written down in front of you. Like, of course you can tell yourself like, hey, I'm going to do this. I want to work on this, but it might slip your mind. You know what I mean? Like we think about a lot of stuff in a given day. So it's easy to just push something back outside of your brain. But like I have a big bulletin board right in my room. I have a bulletin board in my room at school. These are just things that I like to have. Like I just like writing about what I want to do in a week, in a month, in a year with my life, goals, aspirations, challenges. These are just stuff that are important to me because it just makes me a better person. And I don't know, like I said, if this is something that interests you, give it a try. I mean, it has helped me a lot this year, and it's just made me a happier person, I would say. So yeah, it's called the Wise Planner. The Enlightenment Planner was a good one to start with, I would say. The Wise Planner looks kind of sophisticated. It's kind of like on steroids, if I must say. Enlightenment Planner. Get that. Honestly, that's a great thing. Or Wise Planner, doesn't really matter. But yeah, it helps you track your life. And that's basically it. Man, I have no clue how long we ran for. I literally have no clue. This is going to be something to edit later. But it will be out tomorrow. It will be out on January 12th, whenever you're listening to this. But yeah, so today we talked about sports. We talked about the NFL wild card, college football championship, the UFC. I gave a life update with my fantasy football league, getting my car back. Again, shout out to my mom, my grandfather, mucho level to you guys. My ski trip. I answered some great fan questions. Shout out everyone that swiped up and sent in questions. Hopefully I answered everyone's. Let me just go on Instagram real quick and see if anyone added something later or submitted one. Yeah, so I had a couple, but I'll get to those when I do the fourth one. I'll just screenshot these. But yeah, shout out people that sent in questions. I really enjoy answering these. I talked about the crypto/stock market, and then I talked about the journals. And man, that was it. This was a great episode. The coffee helped me out, even though it got kind of cold. Excuse me. I've been burping a lot. I'm about to go to the gym. I got back today at the gym. I hit chest yesterday. I'm getting back into a nice little groove. I'm starting my creatine cycle on February 1st. February 1st is going to be a big transition day, I guess you could say. Like I'm still like loafing a lot. You know what I mean? Like sleep schedule was kind of messed up, kind of just like dragging. But February 1st, that's when I start my cut for working out. That's when I start my cycle for, I shouldn't say cycle. It sounds like I'm taking steroids for creatine and my other stuff that I take. Like I take like omega 3s and stuff. I usually take that stuff year round, but I haven't bought it because the brand that I buy, Sports Research, is I just don't have the funds necessarily for it right now. I'm looking at it right now, but it's an empty bottle. Yeah, man. I mean, this is just a phenomenal episode. I like doing these solo ones. I think you guys like listening to them because I've heard from some people on the last one that I did that it was one of the most comfortable episodes that I've ever done. I mean, dude, it's hard not to be comfortable when you are by yourself in your room talking to no one but a camera, but a screen or something like that. I don't know. You just get lost in the sauce. It's one of those things. Yeah, McGregor will beat Dustin Poirier. I'm looking at that right now. That's something that's guaranteed to happen for sure. Put your money on that. Okay. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for listening or watching, whichever one you guys did. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Share this episode with your friends and family if you enjoyed it. Let me know if you guys like the time marks or like the time slots. I think I'm going to keep doing it regardless, even if I don't get a good feedback on it, because it just helps me know what topic I'm talking about. And that's when I have like the other page of, or it's sometimes in the description too. It's always in the description where it just, you click on it, it takes you right to that time of the podcast where like I'm talking about fan questions, it will take you right to that time. I just think it's easier and it helps people. It's almost like making clips in a way. It's kind of just like you go right to it. It takes you right there. But yeah, guys, please follow me on all my social medias. They are below in the description. Also follow me on TikTok at Mike M Show. I got some TikToks in my drafts that I made, but so far I've just posted podcast content, but I'm going to start posting some other content on there. So stay tuned for that. That's coming. Yeah, I hope you guys had a great start to 2021. I hope you guys had a great Christmas because I didn't do a podcast since then. So yeah, I hope Christmas was good. I hope winter break just as a whole was very, I hope you guys got everything done that you wanted to do. Got to hang out with people that you wanted to see from other schools or your family or whatnot. But now it's time to get back to school mode and get back on our grind and yeah, get rolling and get after it, man. I mean, that's basically all we got to say. But yeah, social media is below in the description. That's all I got to say, man. I mean, come on. I'm your host of this show, Michael Marr. Today was Monday, January 11th, 2020. This was episode 42. That's all I got to say. Stay clean, stay safe, stay tuned.